Hey, what's happening, everybody? I want to give just a quick kind of preview for the next Bass Nation Kayak Series event. It's going to be held on a really cool fishery that we've just not had a lot of tournaments on, and that's something that I really like about it. It's going to be on the North Shore, around the Covington, Madisonville area, and the Three Rivers is going to be the fishery. There are three tidal rivers that kind of run into Lake Ponchartrain, and really unique and good fisheries. I think it's going to set up, there's going to be a lot of options, and I always like tournaments where you can do a few different things. You can choose from a few things. It'll kind of spread the field out, and in kayak events, spreading the field out is a really big, it's a big plus, to not have to be too crowded. So anyway, the three kind of sections of the river, if you go to the far north of our boundaries, you get a lot of current, you get spotted bass, you get sandy bottom, you get really typical kind of riverine fishing. The middle sections of the river, slower current, cypress trees, grass. The bottom of the bottom section of the rivers, towards the lake, you're going to get more of an estuary kind of marsh environment, right? And it's almost like there's really three populations of fish that you can choose from. Most of the experience that I've got on this fishery is from the old aluminum boat days, the old John boat tournaments, I guess, that I started to fish way back when I was first getting into this. I donated a lot of money on those rivers back in the day to some of those local guys, but I've put time in on them. I've learned them. I'm excited about the event. I've had 2 practice days so far. The first one was 2 weeks out, and I just went. We're about a week away from the tournament, and I went yesterday. The first practice day, I had a really big bag, kind of fishing the way I wanted to fish. Second practice day, I had to fish. I fished 7 hours for 4 keepers. So being consistent is going to be a difficult thing. Luckily, it's a one-day tournament, so I don't have to catch them 2 days in a row or 2 times in a row, which is a much taller order than figuring out how to put a big bag together one day. One thing about these fisheries, the spawn in kind of that part of the state and those environments, I've noticed is always a lot later than some of the landlocked fisheries that we have. I'm not sure what causes that. It could be the water warms slower. It takes a while for those fisheries to kind of get stable. They're really affected by weather. Takes longer for them to recover from winter and kind of get into that spring kind of the spring-like water conditions, stable conditions for the bass to actually spawn. So the first practice that I had, like I said, a couple weeks ago, it was definitely a spawn type of deal that I found. I don't know how much of that's still going to be going. We're almost going to be into May, when the event's on April 20th. So I don't know if that'll still factor. The fish are still going to be kind of in those zones, and in that type of water, I would assume. But who knows? The X factor really is spotted bass. I've heard of some pretty good sized limits of spots coming from the upper ends of the Bogafilaya, the Abita, and the Shafunkta River, which are the three rivers. Which it's really one. There's just different names for each branch, and they all three kind of set up the same. The bank contours are a little different. I know the Abita has very steep banks. It doesn't do that stair step thing like the other rivers do. A lot of really big old growth cypress, and that's always fun to fish. And the marsh, the bottom end of the Shafunkta River, I don't think it's as healthy grass-wise as the lower end of Bayou Lacombe. The Shafunkta gets a ton, an absolute ton of recreational traffic. So definitely, that's something I'm going to factor into the game plan for the event. And I think that a lot of that wave action kind of affects the grass on the lower end of the Shafunkta. But there is eelgrass, there's milfoil, there's pads. So there's a good mix. I just don't think I don't think it's healthy enough to really hold the fish to win. Um, I'm gonna be looking. I think that mid 80s is what it's gonna what it's gonna take. Those fish definitely live in the river. There's more quality in the Shafunkta than a few of the other rivers on the North Shore. Not that they can't be good. There's big fish that come from Bonfuco and Liberty and Lacombe and all the other little, the tidal rivers that kind of flow into the lake. But I think on average, the Shafunkta, your odds of catching one over 20 are way better there than in some of those other fisheries. I think we're hitting it at a great time. It looks like the weather's going to be good. I think it's going to be an absolutely awesome event with a good turnout. So I'll try to do a recap. Hopefully, I'm going to get down there for a few hours Friday afternoon and have a look around. I may post a video right before the event to kind of update on how that's looking, and then do a recap once it's done, and hopefully have a trophy to show for it. Thank y'all for watching.